He does now. He's a musician, and we're going to enjoy him tonight. Dr. Jim Gardiner, come on stage, please.
Gonna make a sentimental journey to renew old memories. Yes. Good, okay. Gotta get to Bismarck, North Dakota. Gonna see my old friends there. Gonna hear some wonderful old stories. Gonna take some time to share. Plainview, most of us attended Plainview. That SGA school in Redfield. Redfield, South Dakota, where we would all meet in the fall. There the girls lived on the south side, and the boys on the north did stay. We would meet in the middle of the building, there to learn and eat and pray. Now we are here from all across the country. We have come for our last blast from our days at Plainview Academy, from our crazy high school past, from our crazy high school past. Thank you so much. It's great to be here with you, and I thank Everett for asking me. This is a wonderful opportunity and a privilege to be with you for this last reunion that we're having. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to ask you about what eras you were from, but Nina already asked that, and that was wonderful, so I won't need to take the time to do that. And I am from the 1957 to 1959 era when I attended Plainview. And so what I wanted to do for you tonight was talk a little bit. First of all, I want to set the stage for what we went through. We went through a very dramatic time in history. We went through a revolution in music. And we were in the very middle of that, especially in the 1950s, and it went on into the early 1960s as well. So what I want to do for you today is talk to you about that demarcation, that cutting off period. Well, the music from 1950 to 1954 was dramatically different from the music from 1955 on. So I'm going to play a little medley of songs for you, the kind that I like to play. And these are the songs, we'll get this into the revolution in just a little bit, but these are the songs that we sat in our living rooms and listened to with our parents and our grandparents and our aunties and our uncles and our brothers and our sisters. We had one radio in the house, and we listened to what they put on, and that was the cool thing. So here are some songs that I hope you enjoy from the 1950 through 1954. Thank you. Wow, the singing was wonderful. Now you're welcome to sing with the rest of these too. The revolution then took place, I think, and it was things were building up to it. So if you study your music history, you'll know that things didn't just suddenly appear overnight in 1955. They've been building up in various places of the country, but some things came together that really made this a revolution. The first one was they invented the personal portable radio. And no longer did we all have to sit in our parents' living room and listen together. We could go to our room and have our own little portable radio, or we could take it to the beach, or we could take it to the lake. We could do whatever we wanted. We could go wherever we wanted to go. And we had our little portable tube or transistor radio during that time. And so that made it possible then for the next part of this revolution to happen, and that was that the songwriters and the artists made songs for us. Up until that time, there were very few songs that were really for kids our age, or for people who were going through breakups and had heartaches and that sort of thing. Most of the songs were about adult type heartaches, but the kids, you know, like Wake Up Little Susie and that sort of thing, those things that we learned about then and that we shared, those were our experiences, and we treasured hearing about those. We didn't even want our parents to hear about those, and they didn't like our music. My mother heard Elvis, and she said, his voice just goes, "Whoa," and it goes on and on. He didn't even stop his phrases and stuff like. She thought that he was terrible, and so anyway, but that was not their era. They were the big band people. So anyway, now I want to play you a series of songs that came from 1955 through 1964. And you're welcome to sing along with these too, or whatever you want to do to enjoy these, and we'll just have a good time together.
Sing along with us.
these were songs that we listened to ourselves, right? And they were songs that we did not have to have our parents necessarily to join us. They didn't want to join us in a lot of those songs. But did you notice the difference between those and the rhythms and the different artists that you recognized that came in during that time between 1955 and 1964? In those 10 years, music dramatically changed. And we were all a part of that, a very wonderful thing. Well, there's another revolution I wanted to talk with you about, and that is the communication revolution. Then we're going to get to our PVA memories. The communication revolution took place, though, in the last 20 to 30 years instead of back when we were. We communicated about the same way in the 1950s and 60s and 40s as they did back in the 1890s. So this next song I want to bring to you is from 1891. And it is called Hello, My Baby. Now this song is about love and communication back in the 1800s. And they had, of course, face-to-face communication. And they had other kinds of communication. They had written communication. But they had two brand new-fangled inventions that were adding to communication. And this song's kind of included those two to kind of get us all up to date. And I thought it was kind of cool. So the first one was the wire, which, of course, is the telegraph. And the second one was the telephone. Remember the telephone? You know, that's the thing we had on the wall there for a while. And then it was on the table there for a while. And, oh yeah, we have it in our pockets now, in our purses and our belts and everything. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So here's a little song about that, about love and communication back in the 1800s. And we just might update that just a little bit. Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my light ragtime gal. Send me a kiss by wire. Baby, my heart's on fire. If you refuse me, baby, you'll lose me. Then you'll be all alone. So baby, telephone and tell me that I am your home. Hello, 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 hello there. Well, in today's world, we do it a little bit more like this. Friend me on Facebook, tweet me on Twitter, text me my techno gal, kiss me on your webcam. My droid won't call that spam. If you don't email, I'll stop my Gmail. Then you'll be all alone. So baby, plug it in and send me a selfie. Let our texting, let our tweeting, and let our loving begin. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much. All right, so much for music history and communication history. Let's get to PVA. And let's sing our school song. What do you say? You want to stand up to do that? Okay, here we go. PVA, dear PVA, we will always cheer for you. We would go the royal colors and the shine of victory. Rah, rah, rah. PVA, dear PVA, as we go along our way, we'll join the throng in happy song for our dear old PVA. Okay, let's talk about Plainview Academy. Wow, what a wonderful time. What a wonderful time we had there. That was a great place. You know, about 12 years ago, we were traveling from Rapid City to Minneapolis on our way to take one of our kids to the plane in Minneapolis. And we said, well, hey, would you guys like to see where I went to high school? And so we did a little detour, went off to Redfield and everything. We pulled in, and there was about a foot and a half high worth of weeds, and the brooks were crumbling, and things were falling off the building, and I thought, boy, my kids' eyes and my wife's eyes were just wide open. So I thought, I got to break the ice here. So I said, wow, they've sure improved this place since I was here. That didn't work. That didn't help at all. We had limited time. We were just, going through. We were got to catch a plane and everything. So I said, I want to see 2 places while we're here. And of course, the first one I wanted to see was my old dorm room.
Yeah.
And that was very important because dorm life was so important on the campus. That's where you spent most of your time. That's where you made the relationships. That's where you built deep friendships with the people that you associated with your roommates and so forth. Well, anyway, I wanted to share a little bit of that with you. One of the highlights for me in the dorm life was there were 2 rooms, one in the boys' dorm and one in the girls' dorm that met. There's probably one on each floor, but they met. There was only a wall between the girls and the boys, and there was a little slit there, and we could pass notes back and forth between those. And on one side of them, Lonnie Louie, who was our version of Elvis Presley, he would get back there and he would sing, and the girls would scream. They would just, "Wah!" We could hear them over there, and we were all laughing, and we were having a good time. Lonnie would play, and he would sing, and then the girls would scream, and then we'd pass notes back and forth. Well, that was really one of the highlights. And I remember, I think we were doing that even when, this might have been Everett's room, I'm not sure. It could have been. Okay. And he had the mumps, and we still did this. And poor Everett was over there suffering through with the mumps in his bed, and we were just having this hootenanny there with Lonnie. So I'll do a little song in Lonnie's honor. Now, remember what I said about radios a few minutes ago? Well, I brought that up because radios became a very important thing at Plainview Academy. In fact, in the fall of 1957, and those of you who went there that year remember, we got a letter from the principal and the administration saying, "Please bring your radios." Whoa! Bring your radios. So we did. We brought our radios. I remember mine was a nice brown one. It was about this long, about this tall, about this thick. And I took 6 size C batteries. And man, I took that and oh, I was so happy to have a radio there. 6 weeks leave. What did they say? Take your radios home. Do not bring them back. Okay, that didn't last very long. So I'm sorry to the rest of you. But there were a few people who really benefited from that event. We started a black market radio operation in the dorm. Now we had an electronics expert named Louis Campbell, and he had a roommate named Douglas Anderson. You probably never heard of Douglas.
Never heard of him.
And those guys had a business going like you would not believe. I got a little one transistor radio, I remember, in a little plastic case that had a wire on it, and you could put that there on the register, and we could pull in KOMA from Oklahoma City. We could hear Wolfman Jack late at night, and we could pull in KSTP in Minneapolis. That was so cool. We hid those under our mattresses. That was the black market. That was really the thing to do. I don't know if those got sold over in the girls' dorm or not, but we'll find out about that later, maybe. So anyway, that's what happened with radios. I wanted to go see my second favorite place. I got to go see my room in the dorm. Reminisce about dorm life a little bit. And as I was going through this place, some of you know, that turned into a rare book and periodical depository where they gathered things and then they probably scanned them onto the internet or something like that. I don't know what they did. But anyway, when I was going up those stairs, my room was on the 4th floor, way back in the corner. I was certain, as I was going up those stairs, that either the stairs were going to collapse or the place was going to ignite just immediately. It was that creepy. I was glad we weren't still going to school there. But anyhow, the second place I really wanted to see was the chapel. For some reason, I really loved that place. There were so many things that went on there. We had church services there. We had assemblies there. We had choir practice there. We had date nights there. we had all kinds of things going on in that chapel. So that inspired me, and I wanted to share a little song with you about the chapel. Thank you so much. Another place that was wonderful, I got to go down there to the cafeteria as well, because that's where they had their office, and I went in and checked in with the people who owned the building, make sure, you know, I'd get permission to go and explore a little bit, and certainly they were happy to let us do that. But anyway, I remembered one of the highlights for me at the cafeteria was the fruit soup on Friday night. Remember that hot fruit soup? Oh, if you liked that, it was great. If you hated it, you know, you were starving. So anyway, that's what we had. And then we had a scoop of ice cream in the middle of that. Oh, that was so cool. But anyway, one of the things that I remember going on in the cafeteria was the food fights. Did any of you in on a food fight? Okay, I believe the statute of limitations is over on that one too, so you can admit it if you want. But anyway, some people I knew were in on food fights, and they just kicked them out. They just kicked them out of the cafeteria. They didn't send them home. They didn't send up trays or anything like that. In this day and age, that would be a lawsuit really going at it. But anyhow, so the rest of us got feeling sorry for these people. So I organized a little smuggling operation. And I said, you know, look, if you want to take an extra banana, you know, if you don't want to eat the apple that you get, you know, let's just put it in your pocket, or, you know, put it under your shirt, and we'll take it up, we'll feed these people. They're really starving up there. Well, then we got caught in our smuggling operation, and then we got kicked out of the cafeteria. So it was really bad. I think they must have run out of food or something. You know, they just looked for excuses. They got us out of there so they wouldn't, well, never mind. So anyway, miracles happened. My father, who was a rancher, was back at home, and my mother was in the hospital. She was very sick, and she'd been in the hospital for several months. And my father took care of the ranch. He took care of my little sister, and he ironed her clothes. He braided her hair. He did all these things, and he got a care package ready for me and sent me at the academy. And it arrived the day I got kicked out of the cafeteria. Isn't that wonderful? God is so good. I am so well protected. Well, anyway, then when there were faculty in there, we were pretty good, you know. But when there was no faculty member in the cafeteria, we would do little tricks and mean, you know, not mean things. They were great things, I think. I had this Billy Vaughn record that was a 45 record of Blue Hawaii, and I love that song. So I took it down there. One day there was nobody there, so we put it on the stereo in the cafeteria and we started playing. I'm going to play this for you right now, and just imagine the people were dancing around, they were kind of swaying around, you know, going up and getting more food and everything. Breakfast was the best that day it had ever been. Wouldn't you know it? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Wouldn't you know it, the principal walked in. And he couldn't figure out how to turn off that thing. He just saw us, you know, swaying around, having a great time at breakfast. That wasn't supposed to be the way it was going to go. Anyway, he went over, finally he just ended up yanking the cord out of the wall. And he pulled that out of there, finally figured out how to open the place, and then he said, "Whose is this?" And I raised my hand and he said, "Okay, this is confiscated. You'll get it at the end of the year." So I think I still have that somewhere. I couldn't find it. I looked for it. Couldn't find it, but that anyhow. So really, the cafeteria was a wonderful place, and we had such great and fun, pranky things there going on all the time. Well, next, I'm going to play a little song.
Jim,
Yes.
get to the one where we really had fun. The Boogie Woogie.
The Boogie Woogie.
For us where you played for us in the cafeteria.
Did I do that? I didn't remember.
The statute of limitations is up, Jim.
No, I don't think the statute of limitations is up on that one. Okay, I'll do a Boogie Woogie for you. Thank you so much. Okay, here's the next area that we're going to talk about, and you'll get it right away. Get a job, get a job, get a job. Thank you. And you know, I think every one of us did. I don't know of anybody who wasn't working when we were at the academy. It was a cool thing. It was just a great thing. It really built our character. We worked all over the place. I made a list here. We were in the dorms, the cafeteria, the administration building, the grounds, the maintenance, the boiler room, the broom shop, the gymnasium, and my first job was in the laundry. Boy, that was hot. I think it was hot today. Whew. It was great in the wintertime, but boy, in the spring and the fall, that was a hot, hot place to be, those of you who worked there. My second job, I was a night watchman, and I still have my stick. I took an old pitchfork handle, cut it off, and I drilled a hole and put a bolt in the end so that I had a great, you know, this was my nightstick. That was the scariest job I've ever had. I did not like it. You know, you go around it every half hour at night, all night long, and you check all the locks and check all the doors. Oh my. Anyway, finally I landed my dream job in the music hall. Yeah. Wow, that was great. I loved that job. So anyway, here's a little song about that. I worked at the music hall where I dusted, cleaned, and mopped. I cleaned up after practice and band. The work there never stopped. But I had one precious thing. For the door I had a key. So when I felt down and out, I'd play songs just for me. When my friends found out that I had access to that place, they came and brought their girls along to make out while I played. I never watched them as they kissed, that would just be rude. I just played the latest songs and hoped they'd brought me food. Then one day the music teacher was told what songs I knew. He called me in and told me then to play a song straight through. I played a song and then he said that the song was bad. He told me never to play it again, but of course I always had. Love me tender, love me sweet, never let me go. You have made my life complete, and I love you so. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. For my darling, I love you, and I always will. Well, the next place we want to go to is the gymnasium. Oh, we did great things in the gymnasium. You know, first of all, I think about the lyceums and the concerts that we had there. Well, here's one. I want to go with this one with you. Picture it. Saturday night, the gym is full. My parents have driven 280 miles to see the program. The choir is on stage right, the band is on stage left, the lights are out, there's a drum roll, the honor guard is poised ready at the beginning of the aisle to march forth and post the colors. The spotlight comes on the trumpet trio in the middle, and a fanfare. My most embarrassing moment ever. Well, immediately, the spotlight goes off, and I had just done an oil change on my valves, on my trumpet, and I got them twisted around. Doug Anderson was on the end of the top row, and he jumped off of that, there from the choir, and came running over, and he said, "Jim, tell me who did this. I'll get him right now." Shirley Patzer was also on the end of the girls' area of the choir, and I wanted to impress her more than anything, and she was laughing at me. So I was really, really embarrassed. Well, we went on. You know, I got my valves turned around, and I did the trumpet fanfare, and the colors came, and then we finished the program. But whenever people say, "What's your most embarrassing moment?" Yep, there it is. It's always foremost in my mind. So anyway, this old trumpet and I have been together for 59 years. My parents bought this for me for my 14th birthday when I was a sophomore, or no, when I was a freshman, at Plainview. I bought it in Aberdeen at the music store there. They got it for me. They paid $200 for it. It was the top of the line Con trumpet. I looked up today, I thought, well, I'll bet that's worth $800 or $900, something like that today, you know. I looked up, $7,000.
Amen.
I don't see how parents can afford instruments for their kids in these days. Anyway, I still have that. That's one of my prized possessions. All right, let's go on now. What else happened down there? You know, there were 2 pianos in the gymnasium when I was there. And when a concert pianist would come to town, they would ask me, what do you want to play, this piano or this piano? Well, they would take one look at that beautiful brown grand piano and they say, wow, that one, of course. The other one was an old upright that had been painted white. And so they would set out that big, beautiful grand piano. They would go out and play, and there were about 8 keys missing, and it was way out of tune. It was not a piano. It was kind of a relic of a piano. When we have pianos like that in Rapid City, the piano store there puts them out in front and makes a waterfall out of them. Anyhow, well, I could have told this guy, I mean, the other piano was far superior. This one was terrible. You go and open that other one up, Steinway and Sons, back in the early 1900s. That was really a wonderful piano. So I don't know whatever happened to that. So anyway, I thought I should do a little classical music for you today. And I wanted to do a concerto for piano and orchestra, and I invited the North Dakota Symphony to come. And has anybody seen the symphony? Did they make it? I don't think so. I haven't seen them either. I waited backstage, didn't hear from them. Well, tell you what, I'm going to get my money back from them, plus the show must go on. So here we go. Tchaikovsky's Concerto for Piano and Orchestra, without the orchestra. Oh, flip my tail. Well, you know, there were some wonderful, wonderful times. We got to go to the chapel and hold hands with our girlfriends and boyfriends. But when you went to the gym, you got to dance with wheels on your feet, of course. And you got to hold both hands. I was talking with Tom, did we get to put our arm around the girls? Anybody ever did we get to do that, or did they really go after us for that?
Couldn't do it.
Put our arm around them? No. They said,
Couldn't
okay.
Tom did.
Tom did. Well, we'll talk about that one later. Okay, here we go. Now, I want you to imagine that you're out there on the floor on skating night with your honey, and I'm going to play a little song just to support that memory for you. Did you enjoy that memory? I hope so. Now, you know, there's one other thing we did. The guys did this, and that was before they before they integrated the genders in the services. But did the women ever have medical cadet corps? At least not when we were in school. Was there some in the medical cadet? Oh, yes, I see some nods. Yes, well, good, good. I want to find out, how many of you were in MCC, Medical Cadet Corps? Okay. How many of you went on to serve in the armed services? Okay, many of you. All right. I'm going to play your songs tonight, so to honor you. So let's just, I want to run through and do that to honor your service to our country. We're going to start with the Army. Thank you all for your service to our country. Well, the next place, I'm going to just play a song about it right away, and you'll figure out where this is. Well, we got saved from some of our narrowness in our experience by going downtown and discovering that there's a different world out there than we were existing in for the past few weeks. And it was kind of neat. We got to go downtown. I love to go to the malt shop. We'd have malts there. Oh, that was so good. And if anybody had a birthday or something you want to buy a gift for and everything, we go down there and go to the drugstore or to a gift shop somewhere and buy a gift. I know one time Tom was with me and my girlfriend's birthday was coming up, and I decided I was going to get her a nice gift, so I would decide to buy her some nice perfume, and it was going to cost $5. And Tom said right there as I was ready to make the sale, or to make the purchase, the gal there was going to make the sale, and Tom said, "You're going to spend $5 on your girlfriend's birthday?" Now in this day and age, it's nothing, but in those days, that was a lot of money. And this gal saved the sale by saying, "Well, I suppose she's worth it." And that was so cool. So she stuck up for me and my girlfriend. Anyway, so anyhow, one of the things we did. And when we would go on, and the Boys Town Day when I was going to school there was usually on Friday. And so we'd go to town, and then we would bring home our breakfast of champions for Sabbath morning. And of course, it was Bismarck's and cream soda. Boy, it's a wonder we survived. It's a wonder our brains just didn't pickle, you know, with what we put in our bodies in those days. Crazy, crazy stuff. Okay. Well, speaking of town, there was a fascination with the academy by the town boys of Redfield. You remember that? I see some girls really smiling and nodding. Okay. You know, they used to come by and cruise by. Did they do that when you were there? They would cruise by after dark, and they would squeal their tires, they might honk their horns, and they'd look for those girls to come to their windows up in the dorm and everything. And that was and do you know, I really admire the responsibility that the administration at PVA had to protect us poor helpless kids that were under their charge. You know, that's a big responsibility. And I think, when I see what the administration did to take care of the town boys, I really think that they had a head start on Homeland Security. So, anyway, here's a little song about that. Oh, the town boys lived in Redfield, like to cruise by late at night, squealed their tires by the academy, woke those dorm girls with an awful fright. Now the principal and the accountant lived in houses right next door. They were ready for those town boys with their brickbats and a 44. When those town boys hit the campus, Willie and Johnny were laying low. They struck hard and they struck swiftly. Those bad town boys took blow by blow. So the next day in the chapel, Willie came in with a bandaged head. He had fought hard along with Johnny, who showed up with a big black eye. But the dorm girls were so grateful, their fighting heroes had saved the night. They were safe now in their dorm rooms, and those town boys were out of sight. They were safe now in their dorm rooms, and those town boys were out of sight. Thank you. Well, how are we doing on time? 10:30, wow. Okay, no discussion of the PVA experience would be complete unless we talked about that elephant that was lingering over our heads at all times. I'm speaking, of course, of that beautiful, steep, and beckoning roof with the enchanting bell tower in the middle. Now, once again, the time of, anyhow, how many of you went up on the roof? Good for you. All right, all right. I went up there and I took a selfie up there, too. And I can show you, I have it on my phone. Seriously, I really can. So I don't know who took the picture, to tell you the truth, but I got up there, I wanted to be relaxing in the bell tower. And I just think that was one of the most wonderful things that we could do while we were there. Well, tonight, I am staying in the girls' dorm. And I didn't even have to go on the roof. Isn't that wonderful? Anyway. Okay, here's a little song about the roof. I have trouble crying through this one, so please bear with me if I do get kind of emotional about it. When Academy life started getting me down, and I was homesick for my home place, I'd climb out my window and get on the roof, and all my cares would drift out into space. On the roof it's peaceful as can be, and there the school below won't bother me. Upon the roof I'd sit in the bell tower and I could see so far away it seemed at home I could be. And I would imagine my family there all gathered round to eat, and I'd be there on the roof. That's the only place I know, for you just have to wish and make it so. Up on the roof.
Gardiner, get off the roof. Gardiner, get off the roof. We're coming up after you. Gardiner, get off the roof.
Okay, so much for my peace and quiet. And Johnny Carpenter did come up after me too when the time I went up there. I remember, I don't know, maybe he took the picture, who knows. I just think those faculty members really wanted an excuse to get up there. Who knows, we'll never know that probably. Well, the last group of people I want to talk about are the angels that took care of us there. And I'm sure you have a favorite or two that you really enjoyed being there. And some of these were faculty members, some of them were other people. I remember the angels that we thought of were the beautiful cafeteria workers. And I remember Shirley Patzer used to work there, and Cookie Harbison worked in there. And Cookie, we always had a good relationship with her, and we would go to these girls, they would go back in the freezer and get us ice cream bars. We were hungry. Well, that was a great thing. So one afternoon I stopped by and Cookie was there, and wow, so I said, oh Cookie, would you please get me an ice cream bar, please, please, please? She said, sure, come on back with me. So we went back together in the freezer. And there we were, just the two of us in that freezer. And she took her time getting that out, getting out that ice cream bar for me. And she turned to me and she said something that I'll never forget. She said, you have enough aftershave on to kill a cat. So anyway, well, that put me down a few notches. I didn't put on so much aftershave after that. See, I had to learn that lesson. But, okay. Anyway, there were people there that I really did appreciate. Barbara Carpenter, Tom's sister, was one of them. She was an angel for me. She was my second mother away from home. I went there when I was 13 years old, and my goodness, I needed some guidance. So it was wonderful having her there. She would have Tom and me over for dinner on Sabbath, and we just had some wonderful times there. A second one that I really appreciated there was Ray Blue, our math teacher. He would always take time to listen, and he would take time to respond to you personally. And the third one was Glide Scheidler, who was the girls' dean, and she was the piano teacher, and she taught me. And she would talk about me behind my back. She would say things such as, he's the only one that can do all of these glides and who can do all of these scales and do all these things. I think he's the best pianist we have around here. And boy, you know, that would get back to me, and I would just, oh my goodness, you know. That really boosted my self-esteem as I was trying to make my way in this world. So I wanted to play a little something for those people who were our angels. And I'd like you to think of that person or those persons from your academy life who were your angels. And I want to play a little song to just kind of honor them. And finally, the worship times in the dorms. Who can forget the songs that we used to sing there and the things that we used to do there, listening to our deans who brought us spiritual messages and other people who came in to speak to us. And those were wonderful times. You know, they really taught us that consistency of staying close to God in the morning and again in the evening, with the songs especially. So I have a couple songs, and I'm going to ask Everett if he would come up and help me with this one. We're going to do In My Heart There Rings a Melody, and He Keeps Me Singing. And I'd like the women to sing the chorus of In My Heart There Rings a Melody, and then the men to sing the chorus of He Keeps Me Singing. And Everett, I would like you to lead the women, and I will lead the men. Let's do a little practice on them.
Okay, the women are going to do In My Heart.
The women will do In My Heart There Rings a Melody. Let's practice on that one first. And then the men, we're going to sing He Keeps Me Singing. And it starts out Jesus, 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 or Jesus, loving Jesus.
No, Jesus, Jesus.
Okay, here we go. Jesus, 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 sweetest name I know, fills my every longing, keeps me singing as I go. Now let's do it both together. Jesus, Jesus, sweet melody, there rings a melody, there's heaven's harmony. In my heart there rings a melody, there rings a melody of love. Beautiful. Thank you, Everett. One more song, and this one is the one that was my favorite, my very favorite. And we didn't sing this one until it was we were just about to have vacation. And it's called In a Little While We're Going Home. Let's sing that first verse of that one. Let us sing a song that will cheer us by the way. In a little while we're going home. For the night will end in the everlasting day. In a little while we're going home. In a little while, we will cross the billows foam. We shall meet at last when the stormy winds are past. And in a little while we're going home. I'm putting it down low so we can all hit that high note at the end. Let us sing a song that will cheer us by the way. In a little while we're going home. For the night will end in the everlasting day. In a little while we're going home. In a little while, we shall cross the billows foam. We shall meet at last when the stormy winds are past. In a little while we're going home. Thank you so much. That sounded beautiful. Well, here we are at the Last Blast reunion. Let's enjoy, reminisce, and truly have a sentimental journey together. I hope our time together has given you, seeded a little bit of the memories for you, and I hope just tons and tons of memories come to you tonight and tomorrow that you can share with your friends and just go back and feel good about with Plainview Academy. Here we go. We'll just finish up with Sentimental Journey. Now we have come from all across the country. We have come for our last blast. From our days at Plainview Academy. From our crazy high school past. From our days at Plainview Academy. From our precious high school past.